Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to give you guys a heads up on a free game that our good friends at Fanatical are offering you. It is a free Steam title, so we'll talk that. Couple of good Steam deals to highlight as well, couple on Green Man Gaming, and also another great deal at Fanatical that we'll highlight that is just absolutely fantastic for one of my favorite games of the last few years. Really, of all time, I would go that far in regards to that game, and thematically fits out for the month of October ahead of Halloween. But right off the top, we do have Unloved available free over at Fanatical, based on the community award-winning Doom 2 mod with the same name by the same creator. Unloved is reimagined in the Unreal Engine 4 to bring forth the unspeakable terror in new ways. Play co-op with your friends, increase your skills, mod your weapons, and face the horror that this unearthly place holds. Game's got a very positive reception of 866 reviews. 80% of those reviews are positive. The game notes fast-paced shooter gameplay and co-op features, punishment system. Everything you do in this game has consequences. The more you take, the more evil grows. Greed and too much curiosity will increase your punishment until you get completely overwhelmed by the endless tide of monstrosities. Randomly arranged levels. Every basement area is generated from handcrafted level chunks that are randomly arranged. After that, certain areas get locked by the architect, and you have to find certain key items to access them. Every level has final rooms with objectives the player has to complete in order to leave the level. Create your own unique playstyle. Besides customizing your appearance, you can also create your own unique playstyle. Equip magic trinkets with unearthly powers that can completely change the way you experience the game. Want to become super tough, or do you prefer to run super fast? Do you want to deal lots of damage or have the highest chances of survival? The right combination of trinkets makes it possible and sets you apart from other players. And play in 4 different game modes as well if you want a different experience. Besides the ultra violence, you can also select the alternative game modes that may suit your playstyle a little bit more. Classic horror gets your blood pumping while you desperately look for enough ammunition to survive the next enemy, and find weapon mods to be more efficient and gain karma by completing personal challenges. Unlock new items and the mysteries that Unloved holds. Unloved dropped back in 2016, typically $4.99, available free over at Fanatical, as long as you just add it to your cart, link your, give them your email, I believe, and they'll email you whenever they get quality deals, you know, the email newsletter, all that kind of stuff. Get your free copy of Unloved during Fanatical's Fright Fest sale. Simply subscribe to our email newsletter and link a valid Steam account to grab your Steam key. So there you go with that. Speaking of Fanatical, gotta highlight this tremendous deal that they have right now. Resident Evil 4, the base game, is 58% off for $16.79. The Gold Edition is $25.99. That'll get you the Separate Ways DLC as well. Guys, Resident Evil 4, this release is the remake of the 2005 title. You're taking one of the best games of all time and you're remaking it in a really well done way. What do you get? One of the best games of all time once again. That's literally how good Resident Evil 4 Remake is. It is a phenomenal game. And RE4, I know this is the incredibly generic way that somebody gets into Resident Evil, but yes, in fact, RE4, the original, was the game that got me into Resident Evil. And it's also the game that is perceived by many to take the franchise into more of an action-y route, which worked out well. But RE4 is absolutely tremendous, and this remake is phenomenal. To get it for less than $17 is a ridiculous deal. I would recommend the Gold Edition. I think that's a great pickup for the Gold Edition. The Separate Ways DLC is a solid, 4 hours of content, and RE4 is one of those games that, man, while the main story isn't gonna be like 30 hours long or anything like that, the replayability of this game is great, and Resident Evil is one of those franchises that you're really not going into it expecting a 40-hour campaign or a 30-hour campaign even. But if you take your time with RE4, it can be a 22-hour campaign, and obviously it can be a lot quicker. I mean, there's an achievement tied to completing the game in, I believe, 8 hours. So, it's a fantastic game. I strongly recommend it. One of my favorite games, this remake of the last few years. And to me, when I really look at it, it was probably my 2023 game of the year. I know Baldur's Gate 3 and Alan Wake 2 were the two predominant frontrunners for game of the year. Alan Wake 2 didn't really resonate with me as much as I hoped, and Baldur's Gate 3 certainly didn't. So for me, RE4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, those were the games that really resonated with me last year. But whether you get the base game or the Gold Edition, a tremendous pickup there. Couple of other deals from Green Man Gaming. These are for XP members. Last of Us Part 1, 49% off for $30.59. We mentioned this yesterday as a part of the Steam sale, the Scream sale. But $30.59 is a fantastic deal for Last of Us Part 1. Really, Last of Us 1 is going to suffer from a lot of the same criticism that Red Dead Redemption is suffering from now, where this game is however many years old, 11 years old at this point, and still going for $30 and change. Yes, that's going to push some people away, but man, Last of Us 1 is legitimately, once again, one of my favorite games of all time. I played it on the PlayStation 3 when it came out back in 2013 and was blown away, and really, looking back at it, it's incredible how Naughty Dog got Last of Us 1 running on the PS3, like, for how good that game looks, and obviously it was a game at the tail end of the PS3 life. It came out in June of 2013, and I believe the PS4 was out in November of that year, so, you know, they were very much, doing like one final swan song for the PS3, and Last of Us 1 turned out to be a great one. GTA 5 also came out a few months later, but as far as Sony studios go, Last of Us 1 was that. And if you told me 11 years ago that Last of Us 1 would eventually come out on PC, I would have said that you're crazy, but here we have it all these years later, and you know, it was one of the worst PC ports of all time. That is not hyperbole, but I liked the game so much that I still played it while it was in its absolutely garbage state, but it's a far better version now than it was back then. By the way, actually, it's Steam Deck verified as well, which is kind of insane to think about, but it does run fairly well on the deck at 30 frames per second, and it's a phenomenal game. Highly recommended, and I'm sure we'll get Last of Us 2 sometime next year on PC, but you guys are very much aware of how I feel about Last of Us 2 these days. Lastly, Days Gone, 79% off for $10.63. Great deal for Days Gone. It's one of those games that a lot of people view to be one of the most underrated PlayStation titles on PC, or just PlayStation titles in general, I should say. It was done by Sony Bend Studio, who are not as well known as a Guerrilla or a Naughty Dog or even a Sucker Punch, but they did a fairly good job with Days Gone. It certainly had its issues, especially on PS4, where there were a lot of technical issues, but that is remedied greatly on the PC. And performance-wise, the game runs really well. It's one of those games that I think it would have been beneficial if some of the length was actually shaved off of the game. But overall, a well-done open-world action-adventure zombie slaughtering game. Like, it's a good time. $10.63 is a great price, so I would definitely say give that a look. But that is going to do it for me. Again, Unloved, available free over at Fanatical. Resident Evil 4, the remake, that's a tremendous deal at Fanatical as well, whether you get the base game or the Gold Edition. Last of Us Part 1 is phenomenal. You know, 30 and change is expensive for a game that came out 11 years ago, but still, you know, the best price we've seen thus far. And Days Gone for $10.63, great price on that as well. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.